When you see the budget, I don't know how it is done, but perhaps some of these things have been done through mistake. So there are institutions that do not exist, like particularly in the case of Bond County where I represent. There is an institution that has funding into the budget, and as such, if I return to Bond County, Bond County asks me, I'm unable to address, I see it as an attempt of not discharging my oversight responsibility. And that is, a clinic is situated in District Number 6, Bond County, in a town called Bunwe, in the national budget. The past budget year, 50,000 was allotted for Bunwe Clinic, and this budget, 25,000 is allotted for Bunwe Clinic. And it will interest you to note, Bunwe Clinic does not exist in reality. So if I will pass this budget, and no, it has never existed. There have been no clinic Bunwe, and if I think I will pass this budget with that 25,000 allotted for a clinic that does not exist and has no plan of constructing a clinic Bunwe, Mr. Movement, I think I will be doing unjust to Nigeria, unjust to the sons and daughters of Bond County that have been elected. So I will want to move Mr. Movement that you please ensure that this proposed 25,000 allotted for this clinic that is not in existence be removed from the budget, Mr. Movement.
It's a government of Europe that has no interest in the future of this country. This is the microcosm of the larger society. This is where young men have the responsibility to provide the next best alternative of this country. And you are subjecting us to an environment where we struggle every day to acquire tertiary education. You are subjecting us to an environment where young people have to pay $50 a work to go to school, where if you're in laboratories, there is no access to quality facility. It is the government we elected, the government and the administration of the University of Liberia conspire against the students. And today we'll say, yeah, Mr. Weah is a failure, Mr. Weah has failed the student. We will rather concentrate effort to make Weah one-term president. He is a complete contradiction. All along he has promoted on mendacity, deception to the students. We will resist anything that has the propensity and audacity to stop more than 2,000 students for the University.
And so we're here again this afternoon where this brother have come, according to him, is clear violation of the Constitution for people to do pre-campaigning. And we are here at the grounds of the Capitol building. All of the banners here on the grounds of the Capitol building. And he said he would do it because this is a country of law, and he's very, very angry. He's doing it very angrily, and you see him right there. He said, okay, this one is our place here.
What is your educational status?
I think political science with social work.
What's your status?
Yeah.
Oh, anyway,
I'm a first male student.
You are what?
First male.
First male.
Yeah. I just entered.
You are what? Yeah. Someone like enter. You got that person.
First male student.
First male.
Yeah.
That's very do. Marvin.
No.
How you spell that fresh male?
Oh,
yes.
Fresh. FLEND.
If you move.
Salah. Why you angry? Why you angry? What making you angry? The new people are here now.
Thank you.
Why you angry?
Salah don't come on in. We are here for development. We get players for this place. This place is a problem road.
Yes.
It's a problem road, not below here.
Yes,
please let's take it from here now.
So who is waiting to listen to you right now?
You the president to listen to me and want to know who politics here.
So why your action will be?
So when did you plan this action?
I plan the action now. I tell my farm. I tell my farm now I'm planning action.
Salah,
This is I tell my country here. The way I'm doing nothing for my phone. That's the counter for. I'm not getting nothing for the couple shop here. I will tell all the show.
Just the other day, I was here and I danced the Buka dance, right? But everybody said, look at the belly, when I see you, I'm going to go dance Buka dance. But guess what? Go on the internet. All of them are saying the men fully them with the dancing in the head. But everybody dancing, they say Buka on the. So you can see that everything that you do, they will copy it.
If you not want betrayal, fight friend, let me. Fight friend, let me. Friend, let me. If you not want betrayal, fight friend, let me. Bombe oh, fight friend, let me. Bombe jene oh, fight friend, let me. Fight friend, let me. Bombe jene oh, fight friend, let me. Hey, see bestie, your bestie not sweet like my bestie. Your bestie la bestie, fine friend. I say, see bestie wanting to happy, fine friend let me. I hear them say they want me go, I say. Some of them say they want me go, I say. Some friends you're oh. Some friends you're oh. Some friends you're oh. Friends you're oh. Hey, see bestie, your bestie not sweet like my bestie. Your bestie la bestie, so hey friend. I say, see bestie wanting to happy.
Okay, find a friend like me. I tell you right. So I'd like to say good afternoon, and welcome. Welcome to Punch Television. And today is March 2nd, AD 2023. And slowly, we're sliding the year of 2023. Don't forget, this is a highly political year. And there are a lot of political happening across the country. So I'd like to welcome you to Trending Issues. And today is March 2nd, AD 2023. Who is your friend? Find a friend like me. Find a friend like Diamond Slanger. And the rest of the crew, man. I'm here this afternoon. I'm your producer. And your host will shortly be on. He's not a strange person, though. So the time is 11 minutes past 4 o'clock. And we're going to run this show straight up to 6. So all you need to do is just relax, share the live video, and invite someone to watch alongside you, because it promises to be fascinating and very, very, very tough talking one this beautiful Thursday afternoon. So we have a lot of issues on our plate this afternoon. What's happening across the country? We're going to talk about it. There were a lot of issues making news in Liberia. What's happening in Bond County? Conquer Boko Colley will be there to fit us in. What about Nima County? The resignation of key members of the Alternative National Congress. And that Christopher Fine will also be in to give us update with regards to that development. The other trending issue in Liberia. Don't forget, like I said, elections are around the corner. There are a lot of things making news right here in our own motherland, Mama Liberia. What happened in Bond County as well? Bonway Clinic controversy is making the news as well. So we hope to talk to our representative of that county, District Number 3, precisely Marvin Cole, to tell us what's happening.
If you not want to betray a fire friend like me, fire friend like me.
So let me hold it right there and bring you our Diamond Slanger. I hope Diamond Slanger will be a friend like me. And I hope definitely it's going to be a very juicy friendship. And always my friend. He's my good friend. So I hope he can find a friend like us. This is the kind of friend we're talking about. So Diamond Slanger is your host today. I'm your producer. So let me just bring Diamond right here for you. Diamond, welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Cherio. Thank you so very much for always taking up your time to produce trending issues, not just for me, but for Vanny Dix and for everybody who take up their time, to watch us live here on Punch TV. Yes, indeed, it's good to have friends, but you should know who your real friends are, especially in tough times. That's when you know who your real friends are. We both know how our friendship began. You one resilient person, somebody who's persistent, when you want something to be done for you. I always use you as an example to young people who want to get things done, that if you want someone to get tired of you until they can do something for you, adapt the Cherio PC guest star. Thank you again. I appreciate you so highly. Yes, a lot of things happening in the country. But we cannot deal with all of them due to the limited time that we have on trending issues. So we always have to look at the creme de la creme and then take those ones that we can have time to discuss. So I want to begin the show by saying this morning, I woke up to very good news. I'm really, really happy because we've had a lot of negative news coming out of Liberia. But yesterday, when I did see online that a parent had announced that his child had got missing. That didn't sit well with me, not only because I'm a parent, but you don't want anybody to be in danger, let alone a child. From what I read from online sources, what was posted by that parent, his child, left the house to attend school on the old road, Joba, And since the child went to school on Wednesday yesterday, they hadn't heard or seen that little child called Francis Tucker, But the good news is he was found this morning about 12:30 a.m. this morning, way in Soul Clinic, as to what took that child from Old Road or who took that child from Old Road all the way to Soul Clinic. That is
it's a whole distance, not even around the Congo Town building.
So clinic is not a play distance to say, okay, you walking, you kind of confused and you just stumbled upon Soul Clinic. It's not like a stone throw away from Old Road. You have to pass by a lot of communities. You understand? So how that child left from supposedly being on the Old Road to have been found in Soul Clinic, that is a miracle. That is a miracle, to be found alive and well. That is a miracle. So it is also a warning. And I want to kickstart the show on this note with this warning to parents and guardians and even school administrators. Look, if you cannot find a trusted person to take your child to school, if you don't have the time, make sure your child or your children move in a group. When they go to school in a group, not solo, that only that child alone will walk to school, no matter how short the distance is. If you cannot keep your eyes on your child as a parent or as a guardian, make sure you find someone who's trusted enough. I don't even believe in that thing that, okay, I will just send only the keke rider for my child, or I will just send a taxi driver for my child. No. Human beings can be tempted at any point in time. You understand?
It's not safe.
So it's better if you have a taxi driver, a keke rider, or a bike rider that picks up your child or your children from school. If it's one child, make sure there is another trusted person that bike rider or that keke rider or that taxi driver can always speak up, you know, to go and get that child from the school. So it cannot be a one-person thing. If there are more than one kids, fine. You understand? Because they're in a group. And doing something to a group of individuals is quite difficult. I'm not saying it cannot be done, but it's more difficult than, you know, just an individual child. So it's a good thing that Francis was found today, but we in election years. No matter how
that's what I want to say.
There are people who do a lot of wicked things to either get power or to remain in power. And as it is, we have to be more on the alert to make sure we safeguard our children from these evil people. Yes. So I wanted to start the show up on that note. Yeah, it's a
that's
so much gloomy, you know, information that we get from Liberia in these days. This is, you know, a light in all of the gloomy darkness and stuff that we've been experiencing over these few days. Well, trending issues. Today, the CDC had a press conference that was addressed by the chairman of the party, Moba Molu, who called on all partisans to go through a 7-day mourning period to mourn the death of Charlo Musu, the daughter of the former Chief Justice Gloria Musu-Scott, who was, you know, killed over a week and a day ago. Today marks exactly 1 week, 1 day since that tragic incident occurred, you know. And the CDC chairman was also quick to point out that this is not the biological child of the former Chief Justice. We'll discuss why that revelation was made and why it was pressed on. We'll analyze his entire press statement today, whether this is real solidarity or it's just a political statement, you know, that had the makings of bite and blow. Because if you listen to that press conference, and we analyze it, whether it did have the making of biting and blowing, you know, wanting to sympathize, wanting to have, you know, put yourself in a position of empathy, but also wanting to make sure you get one or two words that will, you know, mean something else embedded in whatever press statement or whatever release that was done today. The chairman also called on all partisans to change their Facebook or social media profile picture.
That's the chairman of the CDC.
Yes. Called on all partisans to change their profile picture, whether on Instagram, whether on Facebook, whatever social media platform you own. If you are a seditious and you listen to the chairman, but now your profile picture should have been changed. Whether that is going to become, you know, take full swing effect, that is another thing. But the chairman also mentioned that the condolence message also came from the president. That's another thing we'll discuss on trending issues. President Weah has congratulated President-elect of Nigeria. He has congratulated the President-elect of Nigeria. But up to now, we haven't seen any official message of condolence conveyed by the president, whether by himself verbally or in a statement on the official pages of the executive mansion. I just surfed the official page of the executive mansion. You can go and check that as well, Cherio. The last publication I did see from the executive mansion as of now was the congratulatory message from the president to the Nigerian president-elect as to why up to now it's been 1 week, 1 day since this tragedy occurred at the residence of a former stateswoman, a woman who served the country not just as senator, which the president was a senator before at one point in time, but also as Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. Whether the president is not aware of what has happened, or he's aware And it's not just moved to issue a statement, or it has got a political undertone.
Yeah, Diamond, just wait a little bit. I'm just seeing it on the e-motion here, and it was dated yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, so they've issued a statement.
Yeah. They said, President, we are congratulating Nigerian President-elect.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That is the last publication on the Executive Mansion's website, right?
Right.
On the Executive Mansion's Facebook page, that is the last publication issuing a congratulatory message to Nigerian President-elect. Now, scroll further down. Just keep scrolling. Whether or not you see any message of condolence conveyed by His Excellency Dr. George Manning Weah to the family and to the former Chief Justice Gloria Musu Scott for the loss of her daughter, and
not at all. Nothing is there touch
on her life, or whether you want to term it as a robbery that went wrong, whether or not there is any message of that manner there. I can tell you, I'm not looking at the Executive Mansion Facebook page right now, but I can tell you the sequence of things there. From the congratulatory message to the Nigerian President-elect, the next is the visit the president paid to Madam Claire Marie Weah's, charity home. That's the next publication that you see there. So we'll talk about why it's been 1 week and 1 day. We haven't heard anything from the president whatsoever from the Executive Mansion as a way of conveying condolences to the former Chief Justice. It is reported as well that Alexander Benedict Cummings is in Nimba as we speak, his story Nimba. But we've also gotten information that though Mr. Cummings is in Nimba, there's been some sort of a mass resignation from the Alternative National Congress. That some officials of the party there in Nimba County, they've tendered in their resignation. And they're saying they don't want to be part of the ANC nor the CPP anymore. They're parting ways. Political transfer, we know, is open. We saw that they abandoned seditions to reject President Weah 2023. Their support to Jeremiah Kun. Just a week ago, we had them on the show, right? And we asked them,
for the rest of the guys.
Only to see that the abandoned seditions have now gone behind Jeremiah Kun as the alternative to President Weah. So a lot happening in the country. We'll also be talking about what's happening in Bon County with the Bondio Health Center that is said to be a funnel, a black hole for money. And that accusation was made against Representative Marvin Cole by Representative Muhammad Briggs Mensa, that this clinic does not exist, and the representative, that's Marvin Cole, in whose oversight and purview even the clinic does not, fall into his constituency, is alleged to have diverted some 25,000 United States dollars in the name of Bondia Health Center, to his personal use. So we'll be having Representative Cole on the show to hear his side of the story. We'll also be speaking to Kongwe Bokokoli, who is a prominent and an award-winning Bon County journalist, and he's going to be joining us on the show. We'll also be speaking to Mr. Dominic Nimley, the embattled chairman or chairperson of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia, Patel. Some part of this week, he was branded a criminal, a fraudster, and a person who seeks his self-aggrandizement by Mr. Let me get his name right. This man in question himself is wanted. There is a warrant out for him. So this whole Patel drama, what is happening in Patel? That somebody who's wanted is calling another person a criminal. And these guys are supposed to be patriotic entrepreneurs of Liberia. So what's happening to Patel? All this thing has got to do with the 50 million United States dollars petition that was submitted to the House of Representatives by Patel to support the liberalization policy. But in a strong water statement, they've said that Mr. Nimley, the embattled chairman, and others, they're not the people to be requesting for money from the government to support the liberalization policy. We'll also be talking about the 29 years challenge, Chariot. You know, the 29 years challenge that has been ignited and brought to the limelight by Vafli Tele. You know, the man who never ages. The man who never ages, according to Vafli Tele, Valley Tele. According to him, the pictures that were on social media, you know, were taken in 2003. And then the Monrovia City Police Commander Thomas Gao said those pictures were taken in 1994. So, as to which year those pictures were actually taken, we also want to know when the Aqua Life come to Liberia as a company. When did we start seeing Aqua Life in Liberia? Because if you look at some of those pictures, you see Aqua Life bottling up. So I've seen that, Cherio, you've already started the 29 years challenge. Cherry, your microphone is off. I'm not hearing you, sir.
Am I okay?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
So I'm saying that it's very serious, but it sounds funny. That's why you saw my Facebook or post. You took picture 1994. 1994, I think I was much smarter, but those of us who saw pictures, people will print the picture and bring that stuff from the short cap.
The negative.
You will see like a negative form. So which camera he used at the time to take such a picture and that is still existing up to present? These are things that we need to know. And then if you see clothes that he's wearing, that's what on him, and then he and the officer sitting. So that's why I'm opposed. He just saw not too long. We presented a show before together on Spoon. So I tried to just play around in a way. But it's a serious investigation. They need to start. Those who carrying this investigation, the LMP need to look at all these things, consider all these things, and match it with the statement being made by the MCC authority.
Yeah, so Cherry, that's where we're starting from before we bring Christopher Fan on the show to tell us what's happening to the ANC there in Nimba County. You see, in law enforcement, inconsistencies. When you are inconsistent, the more inconsistent you are, or the more inconsistencies that can be discovered in your story. Whenever your storyline is changing, it makes you more of a person of interest. Because sometimes it's true, our memories can be eroded or corroded. Sometimes we forget certain things, but there are certain details of the story that you just wouldn't forget. Especially when it comes to taking of pictures. When you take a picture, it's very difficult for you to forget the date or the year or even the occasion when you snap that particular picture or pictures. But that's not all. When you listen to Mr. Teller's account, in by no way it means he's guilty of anything. You have the right to change your story as many times as possible, but whenever you change your story, it makes you more of a suspect. It makes you more of a person of interest. And yesterday, Mr. Teller again said he spent his entire time at the Monrovia City Police Headquarters. But if you claim that you spend almost all of your time at the Monrovia City Police Headquarters, when do you have time, to tutor those children at the Islamic school? That
he mentioned, he mentioned that in the press conference.
Because there is absolutely a big contradiction when you say you spend all of your time there, then when you say I spend some of my time there, But then again, someone will tell you the man's understanding of English and, him speaking English might not be as compared to yours. So you cannot tell him what he means unless he tells you exactly what it is that he means. But again, Mr. Teller said he wasn't able to attend his daughter's naming ceremony. When I asked him the question, did you attend your daughter's naming ceremony? He said, no. Is it because of your eyes that you didn't attend? He said, yes. What happened to your eyes? He said, since 1994, he had a car accident. And
all of the things is all of the things tailored around 1994.
Yeah, in 1994. But the recurring pain did not happen at any point in time, but just on the same Saturday, after the incident occurred at Madame Gloria Musu-Scott's residence, and then the recurring pain happened that prevented him from attending his daughter's naming ceremony, or outdooring, if you want to call it that way, which by custom he should have been there. So the pain was so severe that Mr. Teller could not have attended his daughter's, outdooring ceremony or naming ceremony, either way, if you want to call it. And Madam Scott, in her, according to what we've gathered, have said that she pepper sprayed, or she doused the perpetrator or perpetrators with pepper spray. So that again has raised another alarm. Was it that Mr. Teller was suffering from the residues from the pepper spray that might have, hurt his eyes, that he couldn't be seen in public, he couldn't even attend his daughter's naming ceremony? That is another question. Some of our colleagues were planted amongst us to carry out a PR stunt yesterday.
So are you talking about media colleagues?
Some of our media colleagues, and I had a confrontation with one, because what he was doing was, when a journalist would ask a very intriguing question, he would just shout his own irrelevant question over your question to make Mr. Teller or Councillor Arthur Johnson to answer his question, thereby maxing your question and the importance of your question. And they were planted amongst us to carry out a PR stunt, to make Mr. Teller appear like a victim of all of what is happening. He could be, when these things happen, it has an effect on you. But allow us to attack the issue at hand. Don't go do your PR thing there. If you want to do your PR thing, invite Mr. Teller to your station, where you are the boss, and you ask him any question of your choice. You guys can have a friendly chat or whatever. Not that we're having hostile chat, but we needed to get answers to crucial questions. And sadly, Cherry, very sadly, some of our colleagues were sent there just to dilute the entire thing and ask questions that they felt were relevant enough to portray Vali Teller as being a victim of all of this. So again, yesterday we witnessed the total defiance of the IG of police, Inspector General Colonel Patrick Sulu, by the Monrovia City Police Director. In fact, Director Thomas Gao even wore his authorization to carry firearm badge or ID, if you want to put it that way, his certificate, his authorization certificate. It's like an ID card. He wore it, and he defiantly, after the IG of police, the head of the national police, stated in front of senators that Colonel Gao was not to carry firearm, and in fact, any firearm that he had been confiscated by the police, because it was police issued firearm when he was in the PSU and when he served as weapon or arms instructor at the police academy, and any other weapon that he's got, whether a sidearm or whether it's an automatic rifle or whatever it is, it was not issued by the police. Colonel, Thomas Gao walked into the LMP's headquarters with a pistol on his side. Though when he emerged after the questioning, he didn't have the pistol on his side again. We're trying to get Moses Carter and the rest of the folks there at the LMP to let us know what happened, whether the weapon was taken from the Monrovia City Police Director by the LMP, and if so, on whose authority or authorization was the weapon taken from him, or Colonel Gao just decided that he didn't need to walk out of the weapon and he gave it to somebody else to bring it outside undetected by journalists and onlooking eyes. That is another question, but we want to know. In all of this, we also want to know whether or not the police, from questioning Mayor Koji and Vali Teller on yesterday, whether or not they are still persons of interest, or the police have determined that they're no longer persons of interest from their questioning that was done yesterday, and the police have come out to say, okay, we found out that these guys have little or no information concerning what happened, and so we've now announced them as being, free. We no longer, not that they were in any problems, but they are no longer persons of interest, or from their explanation from the round of questioning that we did, we still want to maintain them as persons of interest, and we want to escalate our investigation to getting DNA samples, to doing body search, to taking out forensic investigation and all of these things. We want the police to come out and let us know. Because after you've taken somebody in as a person of interest, you need to come and debrief the public and let the public know how did that round of questioning go. Whether you invite them as a subsequent time for more rounds of questioning, or you are satisfied from a law enforcement perspective that they have nothing to do whatsoever with what happened, and the same way you announce them publicly as persons of interest, you have to come back to the public and let us know what is their status now. But as it stands, many Liberians, Cherry, have the mindset that nothing is going to come from this matter. It's going to be, sadly, as many Liberians are terming it, as business as usual. And it doesn't present a good picture when citizens of a country have got zero to little confidence in law enforcement. It's not a good thing. When somebody tells you that nothing good will come from all of the case, just accept it as it is. It is not a good thing. Because do you know what it leads to? It leads to reprisal attacks. Because it also leads to mob violence.
Violence, yeah.
Because now if somebody does something to you, instead of running to the police station, you will seek whatever appropriate redress you think there is that can satisfy you.
To please you, yeah.
Because you know that if you take the person to the police station, nothing will come from inside.
The drink is that vla.
That vla. Oh, that thing, man, I just 3 days noise. After that, everything, everything will be business as usual. And when people have got these kind of pains, these kind of, not being able to get justice in their perspective, not being able to get redress, it threatens and undermines the peace and security of the country. On an overall, we enjoy peace. But our peace, again, is to be preserved by law enforcement and the judicial branch of government. When you take somebody to court, so that rich man, poor man, nothing will come from that case, man, and then justice is denied, justice is delayed, you can't get any redress. What do you do then next? You say, oh, so since I kept my case with the police station, the next day they free the man, all the police say, we don't pay SYZ and get it, and they let it.
You see in the man, the same community.
Of course. What do you do next? And it's very critical. It's very, very critical, Cherry. Very critical. We live in a country where there is very little forensic science that is used in Liberia. And I'm speaking from an informed position. I have been on a crime scene that was totally not preserved. Remember the people who died behind the stadium when the autopsy result came out as they died from carbon monoxide poisoning? That entire
after the
graduation party. I was the first journalist on that scene, Cherio.
I know that.
And by the time I arrived there, the entire scene had been contaminated. It had been contaminated. Law enforcement will call it contaminated crime scene. Because people had trampled there, people had touched things. There is little or no preservance of crime scene in Liberia. And then when we go to forensic science, where you bring the forensic photographers, they'll come and take pictures of the crime scene, or where an act that is deemed as unnatural death, or even any crime that occurred there, to take the pictures and preserve evidence, and block the crime scene and everything. Is hardly done here. That is just crime scene preservation, which is the number one step. Before you start any investigation, you have to preserve the crime scene. That is hardly done. Then we move to the actual forensic science. Do we have a fingerprint database in Liberia? When a person is a suspect in a case, do we do DNA analysis? Do we do fingerprint analysis? Or we rely on witnesses' testimony and getting confessions out of people? At some point in time, if you get a confession from somebody who's a suspect, the person can come out and say, well, I was coerced to have said what I said. And if you do not have any scientific backing, that is a huge challenge. Because the man can tell you that you kept him for hours, you used all sort of interrogative techniques on him, you coerced him to have said what he said, and he wants to change his statement. It is backed by serious science, Cherry. And you can call me unpatriotic as you want, but the truth of the matter is our police department is not sophisticated scientifically to that extent. To that extent. Our forensic department in Liberia is not sophisticated to that extent. So investigating in Liberia is solely based on interrogation. You set you down for hours, we ask you question, or basically on witnesses' testimony or eyewitnesses' testimony. So if an eyewitness or somebody has got some personal vendetta against you, or 2 or 3 persons have got personal vendetta against you, and they say, okay, you did it, it's your word against their word. For science to play a pivotal role is very difficult. All of what Liberians know about science in investigation in our country, many Liberians know, is autopsy. Autopsy. But autopsy is only going to tell you what caused a person's death. Whether they died from natural causes or they died from unnatural causes, whether it was strangulation, whether it was the inhalation of gas, whether they died from drowning, whether they ingested something. It's just going to tell you whether it was a natural cause or it was unnatural. Okay. And what was those things that were used. When you have got that, when you determine from an autopsy whether the person died from natural or unnatural cause, that is when it moves to a criminal investigation to start looking for who did it. And the who uses a lot of science. We don't have that. So this case, as we saw Liberian women today, protesting peacefully at the Senate, at the legislature, calling for investigation into what they term as mysterious deaths in this country. Whether or not that is going to, because I heard the CDC chairman today as well calling for an autopsy. In this case, what is the autopsy going to determine? Because according to eyewitnesses, this girl died from multiple stab wounds. She could have died from the loss of blood, profusely bleeding, and died from the loss of blood. She could have died from one of her internal or some of her internal organs being sliced or hit by the blows of the knife. What is the autopsy going to say? It's just going to determine cause of death. Now, what do you then start to do as a criminal investigator? You look at the weapon that was used. What was used? A knife. Looking at a knife, can we lift fingerprints from the knife? If we can lift fingerprints from the knife, then we start to look for suspects that we can take their fingerprint to see if we can get a match. You look for DNA samples. You look for DNA, and then you cross it with those who are residents of the house to see if there is any foreign DNA, that you can get from there. Then you start to look for who can you cross the DNA with to get a match. The possibility of seeing that happening in Liberia, Cherio, is near to slim. Unless someone can come out and confess, or any of the survivors can sit with police sketch artists, if we've got police sketch artists in Liberia, and say, okay, the person I saw, though whether it was dark and I couldn't get the person's face clearly, or yes, I got a clear look at the person, this is how the person looks, and they draw a sketch of that person. If this is not paid serious attention to, it's going to go under the carpet, and it will just be one Liberian we lost again, And at the end of the day, there was nothing conclusive in terms of an investigation that was done. Nothing conclusive. Up to now, the LNP has not come out to tell us those electricians that they had for questioning, those people who were persons of interest as well, whether or not they've been able to establish alibis for these people, Cherry. When an act is committed, and our Diamond Slanger was said to have been on the scene, if you want to eliminate my presence from the scene, you have to establish an alibi. You have to ask me, where were you at 10 to 11 p.m. on Wednesday of last week? Then I'll tell you, Cherio, I was at home. And then you say, okay, were you home alone? I said, no, I have friends over. Then you say, okay, we will bring in those friends and we'll question them. If my friends tell you that we were together at that point in time, and you question them, you let them know that if you are compromising or you are hiding this, meaning you are an accomplice after the fact, and you cannot establish that, yes, I was at that place, but I was with my friends. That is called a watertight alibi. So these guys said they left the compound. They were escorted out of the compound. The three of them were escorted out of the compound. They went to a shop to have collected money to pay their way. You go and question the shop owner. Did you see these guys? How much did you give them? And at what time?
To match it with that statement they gave the police.
Yes. You have to go and corroborate. That is what you do as an investigator. You go and corroborate their statement. They said there were some ladies there. They don't know those ladies. But the shop owner might know those ladies. You call those ladies. You bring them in. Did you see these guys? At what time? Oh, yes, we saw them. They collected their money and they left. It was somewhere around 4 or 5 p.m. Meaning you've established that they left the fence. So we want the LNP to come out and give us updates. Because in the absence of updates, Cherio, there will be a lot of speculations, there will be a lot of claims and counterclaims. And in the absence of information, people tend to create their own conspiracies. Now, still on this matter, before we conclude, the CDC chairman said he's going to be taking a team of delegates to Maryland County to go and visit the actual mother of the late Charlo Musu. From day one.
So I don't know from the point of the chairman, what does that mean? What was the indication of that?
The chairman might be sowing a seed of doubt.
Okay.
To say, oh, now her real daughter. So that the reason probably she's not coming forth to speak to the police. You understand? Now her real daughter. Because you know, Liberia, we have a very high rate of gullibility in this country. So by saying, oh, now her real daughter, the people say, oh, okay. Oh, I see. Like, why you happen to anybody but to that get? You understand?
So that is a clever attempt to divert the whole conversation.
Yes. If the chairman was trying to sow a seed of doubt by stating that, or he thought it wise to give the information out from day one, I knew that it wasn't Madam Gloria Musu's biological daughter. From what I gather, it is her brother's daughter. That is what I was told. But the girl lives in the house. We are Africans. Once you live with somebody for a long period, and the person is taking care of your responsibilities, you call that person mama, or the person takes to you as their daughter. Daughter doesn't necessarily have to mean you biologically birthed that person. Yeah. You might have taken care of that person. You might have interest in that person. That person might be close to you. And you can even adopt somebody that you didn't give birth to biologically and become your daughter. The focus shouldn't be whether or not is her biological daughter, the focus should be, where are we now in trying to
but
find
you bringing the
perpetrator?
perpetrator to book. Yeah,
That is the focus.
that's Liberian concern.
That is the focus. You know, and then the chairman again came out to say the narratives are confusing. That one narrative say Madam Scott doused the perpetrator of pepper spray, and then she went and hid behind the iron bar. So they want to know which iron bar she hid behind, and all of this. You cannot say you are in sympathy and solidarity with somebody.
At the same time, and on the other side, playing double standard game.
Trying to make a mockery and trying to create confusion and trying to. You have the right to doubt whatever it is, but you take it one step at a time. If you are in solidarity, you remain in solidarity and you call for an investigation. So the CDC, by extension, the president today, because Chairman Molu mentioned the president is also, conveying this message of condolence, for which, again, up to now, it's been 1 week, 1 day since this happened to a former stateswoman. The number one person at the time of the Liberian judiciary, a former senator, and we are yet to see a message of condolence from the executive mansion. But the executive mansion was very quick to congratulate Mr. Tinubu in Nigeria for being declared president-elect. Then it raises the question whether or not the president is not interested in this matter. Just a couple of weeks ago, the president was on the party grounds of the CDC at the wake of a girl who was a part of the group called Daughters for WIA. May her soul rest in peace. She had an accident, a bike accident, and she passed. And the president attended that wake because the girl was a member of Daughters for WIA. So that is just one example of where interest really is. Even if the president wouldn't come up and speak himself, a message of condolence to say, oh, we're sorry, I'm sorry, and we wish you speedy recovery, whether psychologically or whatever, and I pledge my support as the president to make sure that whoever the perpetrator is will be brought to book, and we'll have to start looking into how to provide security for those of our statemen who are entitled to security by virtue of the positions that they occupied when they served this country, for which a former Chief Justice is entitled to state security for her protection. So we'll leave that issue, Cherio, and see if we can bring Christopher Fan on the line from Nimba County to let us know exactly what is happening there. Why are we seeing a mass resignation from the ANC? Even though the standard bearer of the ANC, Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummins, is in Nimba, why are his top brass resigning? What's causing them to resign? And we'll also talk about the issue where a man is said to have hacked using cutlass to choke his friend for woman business in Nimba County. So once we're able to get Christopher Fan, Cherio, can we bring Chris on the line? Cherio, I'm not getting your audio, sir.
While we are with Christopher Fan, let's just read some of the comments on our screen here quickly. So this one says the young people's leader, Honorable James M. Colette. I think that was the episode we played earlier on. And then Alfred Paris says one punch will come on air. Okay, so shortly we're going to be with you. Prince M. Man says the guy is NGO. Okay, never grow old or something like that. Yeah. Segbe Kaba says, I'm following. Moses Louis said, thanks for the update. I'm watching from Unification City, Margibi County, and Afro Racing says, show. I think when you just try to acknowledge some of what you said, and Prince M. comes back and say, this is at the result of national security turning themselves to political security or party security. He comes back and said, autopsy in Liberia is total waste of time and state resources because absolutely nothing will even come out of the result. Rhonda Thomas said the former US President Donald Trump didn't lie about Liberia, XYZ. All right, Prince Man comes back and said, many honor this irresponsible and failed regime. Prince Louis, he says, the whole security sector has been compromised. Rhonda Thomas comes and says, Diamond, I think paper autopsies should be done at Teller's eyes. He's a very strong suspect. And then he says, Patrice Sulu, please come in investigation class so you gain insight on investigation. Cause so the man saying that you're teaching investigation. All right, so let's get Christopher Farr. He's back now. Christopher is here to give us update from Nimba County with regards to development so far from that part of the Republic. Christopher, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Damon. Good afternoon, Cherio P. Seger, and the rest of the folks that are following us this afternoon.
My man, afternoon to you. I interpreter. My man, you guys said that in one place.
You know, you taught us how to go for the news. You said we shouldn't say one place. We should also go after the news. So I will just follow you closely in the investigative, lecture this afternoon where you were teaching the Liberia National Police how to go about doing our job. That's a very great job that all of folks should learn from, and then perceive and be on path with the security situation in our country.
Yeah. So, Chris, if I'm to leave journalism, in the short or long term to come, I'm going to be into law enforcement. That's something I have serious passion for. I take a lot of my time to follow these things, to know how it's done, do a lot of research and everything. So if I'm to leave journalism, probably I'll go into law enforcement. But what is happening in Nimba? I learned that Mr. Cummins is in town.
Yeah, so currently I'm touring with Mr. Cummins. We started a tour somewhere around the Beira end. We came to Ganta where he have talked with our citizens in Ganta. He talked with the leadership of our Cummins movement, Team Cummins, and the Zorbe group in Ganta. And then moved to Sacré-Pied where he have a talk with some district coordinators, some women win organization, and so on. And currently, as we speak, Mr. Bennett Zana Cummins left yesterday and went to Wee and Doru, and he visited and he talked to some adults. Currently, as we speak, Mr. Edizana B. Cummins is having a meeting with some Zorbe, some district coordinators, some of them which come from different political parties to join the CPB and the AMC. They are currently having a program now in Stapeta. So it will also interesting to know that Mr. Cummins himself is right now in Nimba, while we have 9 of his executives who this afternoon resigned from the political party, and then according to them, they will announce their next decision that will be taken very soon. So some of those counts that were leveled against them are Mr. Cummins now recognizing the county leadership, and he's doing business with opposition instead of the AMC. And some of the count was further on the part of Mr. Cummins to empower the county leadership. And some of those things was some of those count was bringing people that contested on the ANC party ticket before and allowing them to leave the party. One common example was Benedict Watua, that's Laurent Watua, William Dan, and Honorable Taiwan Way. So those 3 folks have finally left the AMC and so on. So against this backdrop, the leadership deemed it necessary to leave the party and find another political party.
Who are those who resigned, especially when it comes to their positions? I know everybody is important, but you said executives. So you want to give us the positions of those who resigned?
Yes, so we have June Yerati. June Yerati is the Secretary General for the AMC and the CPP in Nimba. And we have Josiah Ware. Josiah Ware is the youth chair, AMC and CPP in Nimba. We have G. David Montois. He's the mobilization chairman and the AMC and CPP in Nimba. We have Darlington Bunda. Darlington Bunda is the district #1 coordinator. Talking about Ganta, and Darlington Bunda is the district #1 coordinator for AMC and CPP in Nimba. Wellington Kweti is the district coordinator for district #2 AMC and is CPP in Nimba. We have Arvin Yadoro. Arvin Yadoro is district #2 coordinator LP and CPP in Nimba. We have Ire Nipo. Ire Nipo is district #3 coordinator and ANC CPP Nimba. We have Tokpa Walker, district #4 coordinator and AMC CPP Nimba. We have Lawrence N. Cooper, vice chair for administration, ANC and CPP Nimba. We have Marie Diakei, chairleader, AMC and CPP Nimba. We have Benjamin Zer Zomba, finance officer and ANC and CPP Nimba. These are the 9 folks that resigned finally from the ANC.
It's like that's the entire top-notch leadership of the ANC minus the chairman for Nimba County, because you have the FG, you have the mobilization, you have the youth chair, you have the women's chair, you have district coordinators and everything. What predicated this? We just had the Monrovia City mayor in Ganta, in Nimba County as well. Are there talks that these people that have resigned from the ANC might just be crossing over to the CDC?
Well, so this is how it lags. People or some folks are when we approach Mr. Cummings with the news this afternoon, and his chairman, the county chairman, Mr. Paul Nandaway, said he's going to respond to them in a few minutes. He will be having a press conference to welcome that decision. But he also alleged that something is interplaying within the CPP since the chairman of the city mayor of Monrovia, Mr. Jefferson Koji, visited Nimba, and some folks are also saying that the CDC-led government also gave them 25,000 USD to cross over to the next to the CDC.
So 25,000 per person, or 25,000 for the entire group.
25,000 USD for the entire group. It is been alleged. It's not yet confirmed. This is unconfirmed information.
Now, you said Mr. Cummings is there as well. Let's talk about the kind of gathering, the crowd. Is Mr. Cummings a popular figure in Nimba County? And has he had the crowd? I know someone said crowd is not what's going to give you vote, but crowd also, lets you know that you're welcome in an area and people are paying attention to what you're doing. What can you speak, to his reception there in Nimba?
Throughout this visit, Mr. Cummings have not put up any crowd as compared to other politicians coming to the county.
Other politicians like who?
Like Jeremiah, the likes of Jeremiah Kpankun, the CDC, and the likes of how to call it, Councilor Tianwa Gonglo. Because when Councilor Gonglo entered Nimba, you could see the crowd and you could see human being. When Onokun was entering Sacre Pierre on his 16-day tour, you could see the crowd, you could see the human being. So during the legs of the visit to Nimba by the Monrovia City Corporation, Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji, you could see the crowd and you could see the students and the But when Onokun entered Baila, there were a few partisans you could see. And they drove to Ganta, and Mr. Cummings was in Ganta like no politician ever. Some of those big, he was like somebody that's vying for representative seat. And so he even entered Sacre Pierre on the Tuesday afternoon. But there were a lot of on the market day where people saw be on the road and other stuff, but you couldn't see.
Folks, so Chris
Chris,
seems to be
are you
having
there?
some issue with his network.
I hope you just rejoin us. Just go off and rejoin us, Chris. Yeah. So yeah, that's the demo. I think he was basically talking about the crowd entering him by comparing Alexander Cummings and that of the lawmaker of Monrovia, Jefferson Koji.
Yeah, so we're trying to see if Chris can rejoin us to continue from where he stopped. But you know, Cherry, politics is also a game of numbers. The numbers can encourage you or discourage you. It lets you know whether or not you are well liked or well loved or you are well received in any part for which you visit. And I wanted to know to what extent is Mr. Cummings popular in Nimba County. So he did give some points that, and two of the persons that he mentioned are sons of Nimba County. Jeremiah Kun and Councilor Tiawan. Yeah, but he also mentioned the Monrovia City Mayor as well, who's from the ruling establishment. And if you look at what he said, the ANC's mobilization chair has already resigned. So who's going to do the mobilization? So whether or not he was to be blamed for not mobilizing because he already thought that he was out of his way from the party, so he felt not the need to help mobilize people for Mr. Cummings. That is the issue. But ANC didn't fare so well in Nimba County. And this time around, I'm sure Mr. Cummings and his executives are trying to make sure they do a better job in Nimba County, at this round of election come October 10th. So we want to get Chris back on the line once we can get him to speak to the story where it is being reported that a man, Cherio, a man, took cutlass, went to his friend, and started hacking the man in Liberia, chopping. Started chopping the man for woman business. According to what I've gathered so far, the victim is currently seeking medical attention, but he's not in a good condition. Yeah, woman business. So we also want to know what is Mr. Musa Hassan Belete doing as well, Randa, as you said, to improve Mr. Cummings' popularity in Nimba, because people resigning from the CPP, by extension the ANC, Mr. Musa Hassan Belete is the chairman of the CPP, isn't he? According to him, he's the chairperson of the CPP. So why is it?
So Diamond, let me just hold you there and bring Christopher Fan back on the line. He's back in studio. Chris.
Yeah, so sorry. It was due to poor network connectivities in this region.
No. The mess of the comments of having Wi-Fi in the car, you'll be moving.
Yes. So this is how things are been like on the tour. And so according to them, men moving, men dropping. So people are also leaving the camp, and people are also leaving from other camp and joining their camp. According to information, people will be joining from the Unity Party. The Panimo group will be joining Mr. Cummings' camp this afternoon. And a movement for now. The program will soon be commencing from Tapeta end.
Am I hearing from you that you're leaving from the United Party to join Cummings camp?
Yeah, sure. People are leaving from the United Party, Panimo camp, Panimo end to join Cummings AMC and the CPP today in Tapeta.
So there are a lot of things happening across. But yeah, let's talk about other issues. How many days tour so far Cummings is taking in Nimba? You've been with him so far since the tour started.
4-day tour, and the tour is ending tomorrow.
Okay. There is another story so far from Nimba with regards to allegation or reports coming that someone chopped another person, chopped a friend. And so you care to tell us more about it?
Yeah, so Saturday afternoon at about 3 o'clock, a man identified April Tua, a alleged chop his friend, one 24-year-old man, Dopo. So what happened here is this, Cherio. Misidentity. In Blivade, April, this Dopo guy, this Zuo guy have come from of Mali town. Mali is in district number 6. And so he came from Mali that afternoon and crossing in the village. And so the Hamen issue is so alarming in Nimba, the region in Nimba. So when Darlington Zoo came from Mali, and Darlington decided to get on this farm and then try to make a way to Blee Valley and take a short call to get to the Loy Belt. And so while on the farm, the guy identified as Abraham Tua found him almost like close to a village. He tried to ask him, said, "But what are you doing here and where you came from?" So the guy was eating his palm law. He said, "Let me finish eating my palm law, I will answer you." So he decided to call crowd on the guy. He said, "Oh, your camo, somebody is here and the person is not answering me." And so one or two guys came from the nearby village. When they entered, said, "Oh, but the guy is talking to you and you don't want to answer. What is going on?" And so right away, the guy said, "Oh, I'm going to the other village." So he said, "But what are you doing here at this hour?" He said, "I came from the other village and I'm going to the other village." So right away, Abraham Tua took collar. He said the guy is a hammer, and then he took collar and then chopped the guy on his neck. So when he chopped the guy on his neck, when the guy fell, and people, police that were called on the scene, they decided to run away. So this how they tried to frame it. They said, "Let us lie and say this guy came to my girlfriend." So when they framed the issue, they took the guy on the community watch room. They took the guy on motorbike and they kept the guy to the Segregated Police Station, and the police referred the Darlington Zoo to the Comprehensive Health Center. So after that, Dr. Moruba and Dr. D said this condition was so critical, so they should refer him to the Ganta Methodist Hospital. And so that night, there was no family member to be around. There was no family member from Abraham 12 family. Even Darlington, we have to use the radio to call, and then the community watchman were able to go in the night to Blee Valley and Mali and be able to get. So yesterday morning, because the guy spent 2 days at the place there, was continue bleeding. And so the nurses and doctors will go and they have something they call suspend. And they say suspending or what. And so they have that term for that. So they will give some medication. And then yesterday, day for yesterday, they came, a family member from Darlington Zoo, and they took the guy and then came to G.W. Hardy Hospital in Sanikore, where he currently seeking medication. But the doer of the act is currently ongoing police investigation in Sacré-Pied.
So I just joined the conversation, and you are already in flight. So it wasn't because of woman business that they inflicted such harm and pain on that guy?
It was not because of woman business trying to justify what it did.
So how many persons have been arrested? I heard you say one person is going to go in police investigation.
One person has been arrested, and the other two federal, they're trying to identify them, and the police trying to launch that investigation.
Chris, before I let go of you, how long is Mr. Cummins to be in Nimba County for?
He will be in Nimba for 4 days. So, wow. The tour ends tomorrow.
It ends tomorrow. Okay. Concerning these resignations, Chris, what has Mr. Musa Hassan Belete said concerning these resignations? He's a key figure in the CPP. He's the chairman of the CPP. What has he said concerning these resignations? So
it seems like Chris has some problems with the network.
All right, so while we're trying to get Chris, let me just give you guys some breaking news. So Councillor Arthur Johnson, for whom you did see at the Monrovia, the Liberia National Police Headquarters yesterday with Mayor Koji, he has finally announced today, having a press conference, that he is the lead counsel for Mayor Koji in these investigations, and he is going to lead the suit against Councillor Jerome Verdier. He's going to be the one leading the lawsuit on behalf of Mayor Koji against Councillor Jerome Verdier. In his press conference as well, he also called for an autopsy to be done on the remains of Charlo Musu. He says an autopsy should be done. He's also calling on Councillor Gloria Musu Scott to make herself available, and members of her family who were in the house and on the scene when the incident occurred to make themselves available to assist the police in the investigation. He's also calling on the international community to press on Madam Gloria Musu-Scott to make herself available, and members of her house who were present available, to assist the police in this investigation. Also at the press conference, he presented a check of 5,000 United States dollars, for which was promised by the Monrovia City mayor in his way of getting people who will come and give information that will lead to the arrest and subsequent prosecution of those or the person who is responsible for what happened at the former Chief Justice residence. So the 5,000 United States dollars check was shown today by Councillor Arthur Johnson, who is now the lead counsel, as he has stated. So they are going to sue Councillor Jerome Verdier, both here and in the U.S., for what they termed as defamation of character, malicious attack, and so many other things. They will come up with what charges they will be taken against him in the civil law court to get redress or to sue for damages, as it's called. So, Chariot, we want to see if we can get Mr. Dominic Nimle to speak to this particular issue. And we'll also see if we can take Kongwe from Bond County as well, to bring us up to speed, and Representative Marvin Cole on this entire Bondia Health Center. According to investigations, if you look at the name on the signboard, it doesn't say Bonda or Bondia Health Center. It does not. It does not.
Okay.
And,
all right. So Mr. Nimle is on the line. So Damo, Mr. Nimle, good afternoon. Oh, okay. All right. So time difference. I hope I just do some adjustment quickly. Let me do some adjustment quickly and get back to Mr. Nimle. Okay.
Okay.
Are you there? It's much better, right? Mr. Nimle, good afternoon again. Okay, welcome. It's good to have you. Damo, it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm not hearing Mr. Nimle, and I'm not sure if he's hearing me as well. If you have good audio quality there in the studio that he can hear me. Mr. Nimle, can you hear me, sir?
Hello? Mr. Nimle, Damo is asking if you're hearing him. Damo, I think he's not hearing you according to him. Let me try to do some adjustment here. I think it's much better. Let's give it a try and see. Hello?
Hello?
Damo, is it much better with you?
I can hear Mr. Nimle at the faintest level, but my concern is if he's hearing me, or you can just, relay the questions and we can just have this conversation. Because I want the audience and the viewers.
Okay, so he wants. Yeah, okay, Damo. So let's do some adjustment quickly. Let's do.
Even if Mr. Nimle can come on via the link and switch off his video, that would be nice. He can.
Yeah, he said. Yeah, that's what I recommended. But he said in a very, very populated and jammed place, so he will not have full control over the noise. So.
But I think you can do the audio call too. If you're doing audio call, it's in the country.
Okay, so let's talk to him directly on the line. Okay, all right. Hello. Mr. Nimle, are you there? Okay. Damo, are you getting Mr. Nimle as well?
Yeah, again, as I stated, my concern is if he's hearing me. So, Mr. Nimle, can you hear me?
Hello?
Okay, so Mr. Nimle, just remain on the line. Let me do a little adjustment quickly. Just remain on the line quickly. Let me do some adjustment. Yep. Let's get it.
So while Cherio is doing his adjustment again, let me just bring you up to speed that Councillor Arthur Johnson held a press conference today. And in that press conference, he addressed certain points, and these are the points. The first is he's calling for an autopsy to be done on the remains of Charlo Musu, the young Liberian female who lost her life in the home of the former Chief Justice, Madam Gloria Musu-Scott, when that attack on the home of the former Chief Justice happened, whether it was a robbery that went wrong or it was an assassination attempt, as we've been hearing. He has called for an autopsy to be done on the remains. Councillor Johnson also has called on Councillor Musu Scott to make herself available to police investigators and to aid in the investigation, and also to make available those occupants of the house who were around when this unfortunate incident occurred. He's also calling on the international community to press on Madam Musu Scott and Councillor Jerome Verdier to make themselves available and to present evidence to the police that would aid in this investigation. He also presented a check of 5,000 United States dollars that will be given to the LNP, to be given to anybody who comes forward with information that will lead to the arrest and subsequent prosecution of perpetrators or perpetrator of what happened at the home of the Chief Justice. He also announced that he will be the lead counsel in the civil lawsuit against Councillor Jerome Verdier for what he has termed as defaming and wrongfully accusing the Monrovia City Mayor in person of Jefferson Tamba Koji. So we're trying to get Mr. Dominic Nimle, who is the embattled chairman of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia. Patel issued a statement calling Mr. Nimle a criminal, calling him a fraudster, and in an attempt to selfishly coerce the government of Liberia to give Patel 50 million United States dollars for them to support the Liberianization policy. According to Patel, in a statement, that was read on that institution's behalf, they called Mr. Nimle a criminal, called him a fraudster, that he wants to enrich himself, and that petition calling for the 50 million, Patel has distanced itself from that particular communication. We'll also be going to Bond County to speak to Kongwe Bokokoli, who's a local journalist that is renowned in that county. He's been following everything. So this is what we've seen as well. This is the gentleman who read the press release on Patel's behalf, and we've seen a rate of arrest here, for the crime of impersonating officials. So the gentleman who read the press statement on behalf of Patel has also got an arrest warrant out for him on the charge of impersonating officials. So Patel in itself, the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia in itself, is embroiled in some leadership crisis. And who's the legitimate leader, or who are the legitimate leaders of Patel? That is another question. But we want to speak to Mr. Nimle concerning his role in the submission of a petition to the House of Representatives requesting 50 million United States dollars for Patel to carry out or to support the Liberianization policy. So once we get Mr. Nimle on the line, Cherry is still trying to do his thing.
So Dama is good. It's good. Now we have Mr. Nimle on the line virtually. So we're going to take him. Mr. Nimle, welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to the peace-loving people, and good afternoon to you guys in studio.
Afternoon again. Thank you, Mr. Nimle, for honoring our invitation. I know it's been short notice, so we just have to go straight into it. Seeing the lights there of that's Dubai.
Yeah, there is Dubai.
Okay. Cherry, when you travel, you will know places.
I'm already informed. I'm ahead of that whole information.
So, Mr. Nimle, Patel issued a statement concerning a petition that was sent to the House of Representatives asking for 50 million United States dollars for Patel to support the Liberianization policy. What's your knowledge concerning any such petition, sir?
Well, I think the information here is that President Chairman came in and saying that we asked for $50 million, which is the original Patel, which of course he's perpetrating and trying to make himself to be Patel chairman, where he was removed since 2016. The $50 million that are included in my statement or in my petition to the legislature is an old issue, it's an old story by the Liberian Business Association, LIBA. I just flagged that up, telling our legislature that they need to make that money available at the Liberian Business Association, LIBA, which of course I am part of. I'm the chair on trade and commerce for the Liberian Business Association, LIBA. And I'm also the national chairman for the Patriotic Entrepreneur of Liberia and also the president of the Liberian Youth Leadership Association. And just to correct something here, I'm not being paid for either one of those positions. I'm just giving back to my country. And Patel will be going for election anytime sooner. And I'm not running. I'm going to sit as chairman emeritus.
Okay. So there was a 50 million mentioned in the petition. Now let's come back to what Presley said. In his press conference, you said he's also an ousted president from 2016 and is imposing himself on Patel. Is Patel currently involved in a leadership crisis?
No, Patel don't have a leadership crisis issued. President Tiawan has been impersonating since he was removed since 2016. He went and forged Patel bylaw and constitutions and started going to political parties. He even saw our second go slow that we did on Manasadi government. The first one was successful. The second one, he went to work and sold it while we were having the last meeting at the Johnsonville at Kafuma Dorlet House. One of the member by then, President Tier 1 police director by then by the Manasadi Eugene and NSA boss Serena Sifa. By then, Serena Sifa was our lawyer. They were sitting down eating pizza while we were planning. And President Tier 1 kept telling us he was coming. He didn't turn up. And I was second in command by then. Only for us to find out that some 250,000 was given by the Edinburgh government to President Tier 1 to cancel our go slow. And we still implement it. We went for 3 days. We wanted to go for 6 days. That was when former Justice Minister, may his soul rest in peace, Francis Chevrolet came on and said, if any business anybody shut down the business for 3 days, for 6 days, because we planned to shut down for 6 days. The first time was 3 days. He said we should be shut down for 6 years. And we definitely went for 3 days. My business, I have chain of businesses in the country. My businesses were all shut down with all of many Liberians that was with us.
Now, in his press statement, stating that he's the chairman of Patel, for which you're saying he's not, and he also said you are not the chairman of Patel, he called you a fraudster and a criminal. In this particular press statement, why would such words be used to describe you, sir?
President Tiawan is he can come up with anything he wants to come up with. The Liberian people know me better, and they know what I stand for, and they know what I've been doing for the business community. I've done nothing than doing the right thing to right the wrongs that was done to Liberian-owned businesses, and I stand for that. I'm noted for that. If you check my advocacies over the years, you will get to understand what I stand for. President Tiawan was removed because he changed the bylaw and constitution of Patel, making himself to be chairman for life. And that was flagged up by police director, what his name, the current police director, Patrick Suru. President Tiawan, after he was removed as Patel national acting chairman because he was acting, Patel have Tiawan Incorporated that funded Patel. That comprised with Prince Howard, that got a hotel in Ganta, as Alexander Chuku Winto, who is one of the deputy minister at Commerce, Keba colleagues that ran for representative. We got Josh Comicad, who is the president of the Liberian Rubber District Association. We have Patient D. Cooper, Self-Down Waterstar. We have another Prince, which of course is all the time doing business. Those 6 went against President plus all the businesses because he was misleading Patel motto. He was using Patel for his own selfish investment. Patel email address on President Tiawan was his personal email address. Patel bank account on President Tiawan was his personal bank account. So President Tiawan went to destinate on bypass to launch manifesto for Cummins and other political parties during the 2018 election, and we went there with the other incorporators and stopped him. He called, but then Patrick Suru was 106 or 104. He called Patrick Suru, and Patrick Suru carried us to Central. So Patrick Suru went through the case, and he said, Where is the document? President said he's the chairman and nobody can change him. So President said, no, it cannot be like this. Where is the document? When President brought the document, we need to find out that he has changed a lot of clauses within the bylaw and constitution of party, making himself chairman for life. The High Party should go and chew the case out and tell us that we should go to the Liberian Business Registry and do amendment. Now, how the fellow incorporators went to the Business Registry, collect the document, write the wrongs that he did in it, change, amend it, and then name me chairman of Patel. And since then, I've been chairman for Patel.
Okay, so in this light, what are you going to do? Because you said the Patel is going to election in a few months. How many months from now will there be new elections, sir?
5 months from now, Patel will be going for election. Patel have an office on Randall and Front Street in the Big Fuller building. Patel have an office. That office was proclaimed by 2 of the female incorporators, Quebec colleagues and Patient Dean, and 2 other males, which of course wasn't in the forefront, but the 2 females were in the forefront of the building. Our first office was Nimpo Street, where 778 fire service is today. So, like I said, my one cannot occupy all of those positions. Other people have to work, and I will stay on the fence and guard them. So Patel will be going for election, and I'm going to guard the process, and I will be sitting down as chairman emeritus for Patel.
There is another office in the Syncope Belt. It's either 19th Street that you see Patel again. So for people who want to form part of your organization and for people who want to do business with you, how confusing it is to have 2 different offices, sir.
No, President Taylor is confusing himself, not the Liberian people. For the past since 2016, people, when they talk about Patel, they talk about me, they talk about my Patel, or they talk about the people Patel, which of course I am part of, and people, government institutions, Liberian Business Association have recognized me since 2016. This stuff was called for in court. What president even went to where and forged the George signature, he and the clerk in the court. In this case, was taken to the Supreme Court, and president ran away because the judge were in serious problem. We took the case up to the Supreme Court. Only for the judge to come up and say that my signature wasn't on this paper. It was the clerk by them during my regime. That clerk was suspended for 3 months with all salary. President Taylor, I sent you some documents when President was wanted. He even took Neff. You know, President Taylor is an okay. He took Neff, one of the staff, Quebec colleague, and he was wanted. He ran away. I think you've seen that document. So that office, he claimed that it's Patel office. It's not Patel office. I was just laughing when people sent me the link and told me that this guy cannot get, he's not ashamed. When they sent me the link and told me that he was doing a press conference, he put a banner they put behind him in that one room and called Patel office. That is not Patel office. It can never be Patel office.
Is this damaging for your institution because you have?
It's not damaging. Yeah. It's not damaging because the people know the rightful Patel that they will deal with. I will tell you just few things that were done over the years. Number one, you remember the 25 person that were downstarted from the APN terminal during the Manasali-led government for no reason? Those 24 persons, Man Patel, which is the people Patel of Liberia, I don't want to personalize it again, was able to give those people back their job. I used my own money, my brother. Not due paying money. I went to ECOWASCO because the Justice Minister, the Labor Minister of the Republic of Liberia, the President, the Chief Justice told APN Terminal to reinstall the people. APN Terminal refused. I went to the ECOWASCO in Nigeria and got documents, came back, shut down APN Terminal for 3 days, and those 24 Liberians was reinstated. I was even plugged in the process. I was thrown into jail, and I came out, and I came off victorious. You remember the Seti Brother saga? When the Liberian had only one bathroom with the mass production Seti Brother was doing. When we were importing steel rod was cheap in Liberia and good quality. Since Seti Brother started producing steel rod, everything was messy. Even the rubber chair you sit down only a breakdown with you. Seti Brother selling wholesale retail, and even the scrap that he bought, we carried a fight on that. We won the battle on Seti Brother. Simenco was supplying cement from door to door, and we asked our 100% retailer right, which of course is on black and white. We went to him and stopped him because by right, he only saw to do supply, and Liberians saw to do the retail. He only saw to sell from his warehouse. Fire soon was going to the rubber farms, to the farms directly buying rubber. We stopped it. So we have done a lot. We have taken Liberians out of Liberia, carried them on trade fairs. They have connected them with the outside world. They are doing businesses today, and we keep doing more. Today, if you hear to Liba, there's two loan schemes that is on right now. One have to do with the World Bank, and another one with UBA. We are trying our best to unite Liberian-owned businesses. And it was in Liba that 50 million he's speaking about. You know, he had every good thing that comes us that his name is not part of. He tried to support it. And he said it. He said, except he be president for the Patel, he's going to destroy any good work that we come up with. That $50 million that was the flag up in my press release while I was abroad here. A scheme from the Liberian Business Association, which is the head of all business institutions in Liberia. We only have two biggest business institutions, the Chamber of Commerce and LIBA. The Fuller Business Association, the Patel, the Used Car Dealership Association, the Colimbo, all the marketing association, everything is on LIBA. Okay, and which of course I am the chair on trade and commerce at the Liberian Business Association. So I have all power to speak about money that we requested through the Liberian Business Association in my press conference.
This 50 million, many Liberians will want to know, because we're just hearing 50 million, and it's supposed to go to supporting a Liberianization policy. In his press statement, he claimed that this 50 million is just for a few of you to share amongst yourselves. Do you want to explain more as to what this 50 million is to go to?
So this 50 million came about. The president of the Liberian Business Association, which is every one of us boss, James Schroeder, under his leadership, he called a mass meeting for president of every sector. I was in Cleveland. I was part of that meeting. The Rural Teachers Association president was part of that meeting. The Wheelbarrow president, association president was part of it. The Motorcyclists Association was part of it. The Tailor Union president was part of it. The Soap Union, the Carpentry, you name all the president of all association, business association in Liberia was part of that meeting, was in Cleveland. In that meeting, we have a document. We affixed our signature to that document, asking our government to give back to the Liberian businesses to help us with $50 million. That $50 million will be used to change the way of Liberian-owned businesses. Like, for example, the Tailor Union came up, the president of the Tailor Union, in his 65 years, I think he's 65 years old. He said, Dominic, being a tailor, he was crying. It's a career. But can you imagine, since we learned this career, we learned the trade to be a tailor, our machine are sitting down. We're not making no money. Our families, our children are not going to school. They don't even have 1 square meal a day. Our AFL uniform is being imported from China. The Liberian National Police uniform is being imported. The DEA uniform is being imported. The immigration uniform is being imported. He said that even the private school, the public school uniform is being imported. Those are things that we can produce. So we need government to help us. Those are things, meetings that we are proud to come up with our 50 million. In our 50 million, we are going to bring Testat, which is cloth. We're going to bring machines that can sew the face cap, the badge for the army, for the police, to create jobs for Liberians. In our 50 million, those of our brothers that can sell slipper, we're going to bring slipper by containers. And the 50 million, we didn't want it as a free money. We were asking for that 50 million. We're asking for that 50 million because we stay requesting it until now. The 50 million to be used with a low interest rate as a loan from government, a low interest rate in a loan payment. And the interest rate we're asking for on that 50 million, it should be from 3% to 5%. The payment term, the tenure, the term given to pay back that money to government should be from 3 years to 5 years. That letter been on the Commerce Minister's desk for the past 1 year plus. Same in that document, it's an open secret. It been at the legislature before this month press conference. So it's something that we've been flagging up. It's not, we're not like President Tiawan. We're not like his like. Doing Manasadi government charged the custom, the LRA, but then charge business people container that they used to pay like 7,000, they charge them 35,000, 50,000. I intervene and make sure they pay that old money that they used to pay. They put the business people, they pull out all of well-meaning Liberian people, put money together, brought it to me, and I refuse it. I told them, say, I'm not doing this to be paid. It's not that I don't need money. It's not that I'm perfect, but I do what is right. Nobody can call you or call on the platform and say, Dominic didn't take $5 from me, or he take this crooked behavior. So, but when bring President Tiawan out, they will tell you, President Tiawan said he's going to be arrested. When people get in the photocopy deed, he will go and take it to the bank and pretend that the property for him and take loans. President Tiawan record, but I been to Sawbridge. How many times he been to Sawbridge? Of late, you can go to the city court right now and get this document or the information from the judge at the Senate. I was called to show where President Tiawan is. He forged another person's document in the people's house. He can't pay. He rented the people's house for money. He took the money and ate the money. President Tiawan is a wanted man by the Senate court. As I speak to you right now, he's a wanted man by banks in Liberia. President Tiawan criminal record is from years sky high. All right. So I don't want to give President Tiawan, get him. I don't want to get him. I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to dignify his speech. President Tiawan is an old issue. What I do is what we're doing as Liberians and people who have the country at heart. I always use the word well-meaning Liberian is to make Liberia a better place for all Liberian-owned businesses, especially our 100% retailer in the supply chain of goods.
Mr. Nimle, before I let go of you, I just have this last question. If President Tiawan, as you said, has got his separate cartel, and there is cartel according to you that's the people's cartel, don't you think it's prudent enough, to inform the general public as per your documents and everything, which of the cartels to want to form part of and to do business with?
So there is it. We have made that document known to the public, and the public have been working with us since. I don't want to give President Tiawan credit, my brother. Trust me, I don't even like to talk about him. I've called for a lot of interviews, and I told him I'm not going to dignify President Tiawan or rhetorics. We're not going to do it because we have been working with the government on behalf of Liberian-owned businesses. I have traveled all around the world representing Liberian-owned businesses for my own pocket because the government have never sponsored us. Even in visa, we buy our own visa. My brother, I don't want us to, give President Tiawan, fans around. My party, the party that I'm part of, the people party is what every institution works with. You don't need a rocket scientist to talk. If you call the name Dominant Nimle, it's a household name in Liberia. And my only gratitude I take is thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nimle, for providing us your side and your clarity. We appreciate you a whole lot. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Dominic Nimle there in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, Cherio, letting us know that what was said by Mr. Presley Tiawan in his press statement is now $50 million United States dollars that is being requested for to go into the pockets of few individuals, but rather a low interest loan that is going to service many sectors of Liberian businesses here in the country. We will also make it our duty to speak to Mr. Presley Tiawan, who has also gotten huge criticisms from Mr. Dominic Nimle. So, Cherio, that's where we are with this whole cartel issue. We have two separate cartels, which is not good when it comes to people wanting to do business and to know how serious this entity is. He said there is no power struggle or no power grab, but if you have two separate, factions bearing the same name, cartel, then that is a stumbling block for anything that your organization want to do. Until one can be legally recognized and the other it should be, is going to cause a lot of confusion. Now, that communication, that petition was supposed to have been read on the floor of the House of Representatives, but it wasn't, because the speaker said Patel needs to go and handle their leadership crisis. Even though Mr. Nimle
because no one wants to do business
crisis, but they need to go and handle their leadership crisis. So if the 50 million is to affect over 1,000 Liberian-owned businesses, and it's not happening because there seems to be a leadership crisis, or there isn't, but there are two separate cartels, then it is affecting the end users. So who do we have on the line, Cherio? So we wanting to go to Bond County to talk about this whole Bondior Health Center, whether it exists or not, whether Representative Marvin Cole has been funneling money through this non-existent health center, and the revelation made by Representative Cole and subsequently by Madam Muhammad Briggs Mensah. We're also trying to bring on the spokesperson of the Ministry of Health, Madam Felicia Bizio, to speak with us concerning a letter, a communication that we did see that is alleged to have come from Representative Marvin Cole to Deputy Minister for Administration Howard at the Ministry of Health, instructing her to defer $25,000 that was secured, $25,000 that was secured for the Bondia Health Center that is subsequently under question. Well, these are established facts. A team of journalists did visit Bondia town, and the health facility that exists is about 1.5 miles out of Bondia, and it doesn't bear the name Bondia or Bondia or Bondo, if you want to call it that way, Health Center. Is a totally different name. Though on the soundboard that was hidden in the bush, it says to be constructed in Bondo Township, it is outside of the limits of the town. Now, to say exist, again, is relative. The structure could be there and say a building exists, but an actual health center to be occupying the structure is another way of defining its existence. If you build a house and say this house is meant to be a hotel and it is unoccupied, is it a hotel? Without no functionaries of a hotel, nothing of that sort, but you said this is a hotel. When it serves the purpose of a hotel, is then a hotel. If it is not, and it's just a building with nothing in it at all, nobody has slept there, nothing of that count. If you can classify that as a hotel, then again it's relative. But when we are making budgetary allotments, the names of institutions are not changed. If you say XYZ amount is to go to Diamond Health Center, and the name, that budget item is Diamond Health Center, and we go and check, and the facility is not called Diamond Health Center, but rather is called Slanger Health Center, that is an issue for concern. Meaning that money was misappropriated. You can't go and make a budget and say, oh, let's go and buy red oil. Red oil is on the list. Red oil, $50 United States. And then you go and come back and bring coconut oil. Or I tell you, go and buy me iPhone. And then I gave you the money for iPhone 14 Pro Max. It's a budget item. And then you go and come back and say, oh, and a phone you want, so instead I bought Techno. That in itself is misappropriation, misapplying funds. Because I told you, buy an iPhone 14 Pro Max.
That's exactly what we see in all of our government land ministry and agencies around here, Damo. They put something in the budget for something else.
A budget item must exist under the name for which it is written in the budget, because the budget is a law.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring one name and say it's in Bondo, and then you go and find out the thing is 1.5 miles outside of the place. Well, generalization, you could say you want to use the name. But if we go and check the name of this place and it doesn't represent the name that is in the budget, it raises a serious question. Do we have Kongwe on the line?
Kongwe was in. He just left. I think he slipped off the line due to a technical problem from his end. So we hope to just get in shortly. We want to speak
with Kongwe because he's been following this, and we'll also make strides, if not on today's edition, but to speak with the Ministry of Health to know whether or not even even on their budgetary allotment list, if they have any health facility under the name Bondo or Bondio Health Center. Do we have Kongwe Bank?
So I just hope you be a good player, man. Kongwe is going to best pronounce that. Kongwe is now on. So let's get Kongwe Bondo. Kongwe, welcome. Good afternoon. Kongwe, good afternoon. It seems to be trying to adjust from the voice. Yeah. that one, there we go. I said to you, the man is trying to adjust himself. See where he's sitting currently.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bokoli. How are you, sir?
Congo, are you there? Hello?
Okay, folks, so Congo seems to be adjusting himself. We want to speak with him at least to know insight in what is happening there in Bon County. He's on the ground. Kongwe, are you hearing us, sir? Kongwe, I mean, you need to get earpiece. Kongwe, are you hearing us? All right, so Kongwe seems to be having some network connectivity issue. Cherry, if we can take Kongwe on the phone via the normal call or even on WhatsApp, that would be good, so that we can just speak with him quickly. We fastly running out of time to speak with him. We can still rearrange for a longer conversation concerning this because it's a serious matter in Bon County. This led to a series of protests by residents of Bondo. There was a press statement released by Representative Marvin Cole in this whole issue, as well as Representative Muhammad Briggs Mensah and Representative Cole. Concerning this particular issue, they've accused Representative Marvin Cole of diverting public funds through a scheme under the name of a health center that does not exist. So again, existence can mean relatively whether the structure is there, whether the structure bears the name for which the budget item is stated therefore, or whether or not it's functioning and to what purpose was the 50,000 that 25,000 was said to have been diverted from, to what purpose was that money allotted, whether to make the place functional or not. But according to residents of that town, it's a very sad story that the town does not have any health center, that pregnant women will have to travel a long distance just to put to birth. And that place was constructed as a midwifery center, you know, and not as a health center, but rather a midwifery center. And since then, it has not even been functional and is yet to even serve one resident of that area. Whether the name is the issue of whether it exists or not, or the structure in its entirety is fully functioning, that's another thing. Or the building was constructed in the place and it bears the name that is written in the budget. That's another thing. So, Cherio, are we able to get Kongwe via WhatsApp or normal phone call so we can have this conversation and we can allow a few minutes to read comments, views, and opinions of those who are following us this afternoon on trending issues? It's 5 minutes up to 6 p.m. here in Liberia. My name is Diamond Slanger, and Cherio P. Sega is our producer there at Punch House. Cherio, we able to get?
Yeah, so it seems to be difficult to get Kongwe now, and I just the lawmaker of that district, you know, there is a controversy or this whole clinic issue, so he just texted me that he's still in section. He would have loved being on the platform, but he's still in section, so we will try to get Mafiko. But Kongwe is back on. Let's try it another way and see if we can get him. Kongwe, good afternoon.
Yeah, Gloving, are you getting me?
Yeah, you're okay. You're much better now.
Okay. Gloving Damo, let me say Gloving. I mean, it is good to be on the show.
Dama, I hope you're getting him as well.
Yeah, I'm getting you. There's been some hitches, but we can go ahead. I'd love to firstly say congratulations to you and the team of Super Bongis Radio and your show Digging Deep for winning Radio Talk Show of the Year. I'm super proud of you. I can't say much. You're a promising young man, and this tells you that you have a very long way to go. And once you keep doing what you're doing, Kongwe Bokokoli is going to be a household name, not just in Liberia, but the world at large. We are super proud of you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Kongwe, so what's the background story of this health center? I want you to pronounce the name well for me, because I'm saying Bondo, and Cherry is saying it's not Bondo, it's either Bondio. So what's the name?
Kongwe?
Yes.
You got the question? You got Dama question?
You have to reiterate. You
was talking about the rightful pronunciation of the name of the clinic.
What's the rightful pronunciation of the health center? What's the rightful pronunciation?
Yeah, it is the controversial Bonua Health Center. Bonua Health Center.
Bonua.
Bonua. Yes.
I'll leave that one. Now let it pass over me. Yeah. Yeah. So from facts finding, Kongwe, does that health center exist in the town limits, and does it carry the name that it is written in the budget as it is? Does it carry that name when you go to the actual area? Is there a health center with that name?
Well, when we raised this issue on the radio, for the very first time when this clinic was identified, in the national budget, during the 2020, during the hearing of the 2023 national budget, people were surprised because the area of Bonua, it is situated on the main road, and it is it is a popular town, one of the popular towns in Bong County. People know that area. So when they say, there was a health center that was in the budget, and he has been receiving money since 2019, people started looking, for that identical health facility. In real life, what we've done, investigation conducted, because so many of the facility, in Bong, especially the health facilities, for example, you got the Batala Clinic, you got, Balafane Clinic. So all the facilities are named after the towns they are in. But for this Bonua Health Center we are talking about, absolutely, like we've been reporting, it doesn't exist. Like people have been saying, it is invisible. People have been looking for this facility, but when Onoko identified a Maywarve Center that was built since 2012, and that was done under the administration of, then Senator of Bong, now Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Her Excellency, Madam Jua Howard Taylor. We are told she advocated for that facility to be built in Coast Village. So if you pass by Bonua, there's another village called Coast Village, and we are told there on Josiah Marvin Cole came from. And right after Coast Village, you got another town called Guetamu. So that facility, if you see the signboard, it is clearly written that it was, the project title was Guetamu Maywarve Center. Guetamu Maywarve Center in Bonua community, because it is in the same region, but it is far from Bonua, not in Bonua town itself, like on Josiah Marvin claim, and it hasn't been functional since its establishment. They initiated the project. It was built through the County Social Development Fund. It was never opened, and of recent we contacted the former Superintendent of Bong County, Madam Selena Posi Mape, and she was clear with the issue that on her watch, yes, she's aware of the facility funded through the County Social Development Fund, but it was not functional, and it has not been functional because she took over from 2012 up to 2018. Nobody one bed hasn't been taken to that facility for treatment. But no, course said he placed that within the budget. But the name now given Bonua Health Center, I mean, it made more people confused, and people been looking for the health center all over. People been in the Bonua town, journalists been there. We cannot see the Bonua Health Center he spoke about.
Okay, so Guetamo Midwifery Center exists, but it is not functioning. Now, the issue of the 25,000, you've been following this from a Bong perspective, and we're following it from a national perspective. I did see a letter that is allegedly from the representative to Minister Howard, who's the Deputy Minister for Administration at the Ministry of Health, instructing 25,000 to be diverted. You've spoken with the Health Ministry spokesperson. What have they said concerning the diversion of funds, whether or not they received any letter from Representative Cole?
Diamond, I think Congress slipped off the line again. Yeah, I think he slipped off the line. So let's wait at least a minute and see if he doesn't join us. And we call it a day because time is already out. Yep.
Yeah, so whilst we're waiting on Congress, we want to reiterate that there is no health center in Bondua that is named Bondua Health Center. What exists is near Coast Village, and it's called Guetamu Midwifery Center. So if you are outlining anything in the budget, the name that it bears, that is the name you will have written in the budget. But if it bears a different name, and then you go and put something else in the budget, meaning what you are putting in the budget does not actually exist. And this structure in its entirety, since its construction, has never been functioning. It has never been functional. So the question is, where are those funds that are allocated gone to? The Ministry of Health in itself, the Bong County Health Team, needs to come up and let the Liberian people know, because it's taxpayers' money we're talking about. You know, where these funds have been going to. If the funds were approved as a line item in the budget, then where have you been using these funds, and on which health facility, since this in itself does not exist? While we're trying to get Congress, Cherio, let's go through some comments from our viewers. If we cannot get Congress, we'll call it a day, but let's give our viewers a chance to interact as well through their comments, questions, opinions, and whatever interest they have in what we've been able to discuss this edition on trending issues. Gafi Sanon says the young people's leader, Honorable James M. Colette. Yes, he also one of the representatives who raised that. Alfred Sawe Soiree is asking when is Punch going to come on the air. Very, very soon. We can assure you we're working out on modalities to have the station on the airwaves as well. Okay. Prince was speaking about the 1994/2003 pictures. Saying this guy is an NGO. I remember a song growing up, NGO never grow old.
Never grow old.
Yeah. Okay, so Singbe K Kaba is following as well. It's good to know that you're following. Moses Louis says, thanks for the update. I'm watching from Unification City, Lower Margibi County. Thank you for taking up your time as well, Moses. Africa Rising says, sure, I'm sure he was agreeing with something that we were saying earlier on the show. And Prince M. Man says, this is as a result of national security turning themselves into a party security. Yeah, so Kongwe, quickly, sir, you were in flight and you had to relocate.
Yes. So you have to give the question back because my phone went off abruptly.
Yeah, so my question was, this facility is outside of the town limits of Bondo, if you want to call it the right way. Is under a different name, Guetamo Midwifery Center. You know, you've spoken of the Ministry of Health team, the Bong County Health team, and the Ministry of Health. What have they said concerning funds that were allotted for this particular health center that does not exist?
So we we've been, getting more information from the two lawmakers, like Honorable Josiah Marvin Cole and the lawmaker of Electoral District number 6, because the Bonua we are talking about, Bonua, the town is situated within Electoral District number 6, and District 6 is represented by Honorable Mwema Bruce Mensah. And for Honorable Josiah Marvin Cole, he's representing District number 3 here in Bong, that include Banga and other parts of, the Jokola District too, because Jokola was divided into two. Honorable Prince Kamamoe was representing one, that is now being represented by Honorable James M. Cole. So we've been getting more information from the two lawmakers. For the first time, we raised this issue. They started, talking about this. They took the debate to the House of Parliament, and Honorable Mwema Bruce Mensah recommended that the clinic be removed from the country's national budget. But Honorable Cole argued that, the clinic is available in Bonua. And we've been doing the fact-finding like I reported. Absolutely, there's no clinic in the Bonua area. But Diamond, the county health team, has been so mute on the issue. But we started getting in touch with National when Honorable Cole, because during the press conference, he mentioned that he was duly advised by the Ministry of Health to just construct one health facility, because money came for the two facilities, and he was asked to construct one up to standard so that it can be managed by the health team of Liberia. So he was duly advised, according to him, for the transfer money from Bonua to the Paya Clinic, because Paya is in Bekwere Clinic and Bekwere Clinic is in District 3. The Paya we are talking about, it is in Electoral District number 3 that is represented by Honorable Josiah Marvin Cole. So Honorable Cole said he wrote a letter to the Deputy Minister for Administration of the Ministry of Health, Madam Nowu G. Howard. As you may be aware, she's the Deputy Minister for Administration at MOH, and we've been making some follow-up. We communicated with her the last time. She said she was going to check, in her office, whether she received letter from Honorable Josiah Marvin Cole, because Honorable Cole said he wrote communication to Madam Howard requesting her to have the county health team administrator, Mr. Abraham Jusuf, to transfer 25,000 United States dollars intended for the Bonua Health Center towards the construction of the Paya Clinic that is in District 3. So we've been making follow-up, and today we communicated with the communication director for the Ministry of Health, Madam Felicia Bossier, and she was clear with the issue today that she asked Madam Howard, and Madam Howard said the communication Honorable Cole is talking about, she hasn't received communication of such from the offices of Honorable Josiah Marvin Cole. But at the level of the county health team is yet to comment on the matter, but information we've been getting is that they were called in Monrovia. They are setting up a team to come and also investigate the matter in the county. But county health team, like we contacted Mr. Abraham Jusuf, he's not speaking on the matter absolutely.
Okay. All right. So, Kongwe, I'd love to tell you thank you for now. It's an ongoing investigation. You just gave us an analysis of what is unfolding. We're already out of time. We'll make appropriate time for us to really delve into this particular matter. Thank you again for availing yourself to us.
You're welcome. And sorry for the technical problem. My first time using this medium. Okay.
No problem.
Oh,
It's not your fault. All right. So, Kelly, there you have it. The matter is still ongoing. It's an ongoing investigation. The Ministry of Health, according to Kongwe, due to some engagements, we are unable to get Madam Felicia Bossier with us. She promised to give us audience. So once we get her, we will have a discussion from the Ministry of Health's perspective there.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks so much to Kongwe for joining us as well. Just want, he gone off the line already. Yeah, it's been a while. for some months now. Yeah, it's good to be on platform together today. Yeah. You want to pop?
Yes, sir. So I just want to tell everybody thank you for taking up their time to watch us again. It's been a great and informative edition of Trending Issues. Tomorrow, Fanny Dix will present another edition for Friday. I'll be back on Tuesday. Thank you for taking up your time, and we appreciate you. To all those who are concerned as to when will Punch FM be on the airwaves, I know you just cannot wait to turn your dials to 106.7 very soon. That is going to happen. That is in the pipeline, and we're working towards it assiduously to get Punch FM on the airwaves. Thank you again for your time. My name is Diamond Slanger, and this is how I bid you farewell. Cherio Pisega is going to bring down the curtains as our producer. I appreciate you, Chief. Thank you again for a splendid display of your professional skills in producing the show. Thank you, Cherio.
Thank you so much, Diamond Slanger. Okay, so that's it. You just listened to our Diamond Slanger, presenter of today's edition of the Trending Issue on Punch TV. I'm Roy, your producer, and I've been here controlling every sound here. So thanks so much for those of you who join us live on the television. We like to just recognize few of you here quickly because time is out. And the Prince Man, Randa Thomas, Blamaji Sano, Vining Masana, Africa Rising, and Moses Luis, Sembe Kaba, and the rest of the crews who've been following us this afternoon. I'd like to welcome you. Say thanks for joining us. Thanks for your support. And there are a lot of concern around the corner on when Punch FM, our frequency will be on. But trust me, shortly we're gonna be with you on 106.7. So I've been here since 4 o'clock, producing Trending Issue. For tomorrow's Vanny Dix on the Friday edition of Trending Issue. And tomorrow is March 3rd, 2023. So let me bid you farewell with this song right here about wisdom. Let's get it, and you're gonna go to bed with this one. Let's get it one right here for you.
White, you going crazy. Is this all right?
La politician, la brand politician. Ain't you see that? No time, no rest. That's some music. Chevy G. Don't waste something, baby. Let's go. We get in power, no food, we must vote for them. No. Get in power, no job, we must vote for them. No. Get in power, no improvement, we must vote for them. No. We must vote for them. No. We must vote for them. No. Get in power, no food, you will vote for them. No. Get in power, no job, you will still vote for them. No. Get in power, no improvement, you will vote for them. No. You will still vote for them. No. You will vote for them. No. Shame on them. I said shame on them. Shame on them. Hey, big shame on them. Shame on them. Hey. I said shame on ya. Shame on ya. Big shame on ya. Shame on them. I said shame on them. Shame on them. Hey, big shame on them. Shame on them. Hey. I said shame on ya. Shame on ya. Big shame on ya. We get in power, show them love for them to make it better. Send a get in power, chungwa in the quarter. We just feel they coming, make mama la pure better. But look at the middle country hard, shall I real quarter. Entertainers, they're working from Steven Tubber. When we talking, they say the thing we talking a sort of butter. They say like native men, but they on Congo rent. They tell them they keeping it on our monkey here rent. We fought on Israel, Dana in the lion den. We tired being in the lion man in hand. That boy against them, that ain't the evil rendering. If it boy against them, then you still on for that rendering. Get them power, no food, we must vote for them. No. Get them power, no job, we must still vote for them. No. Get them power, no improvement, we must vote for them. No. We must still vote for them. No. We must vote for them. No. Get them power, no food, you will vote for them. No. Get them power, no job, you will still vote for them. No. Get them power, no improvement, you will vote for them. No. You will still vote for them. No. You will vote for them. No. Shame on them. I say shame on them. Boom. Shame on them. Hey, big shame on them. Boom. Shame on them. Hey. I say shame on you. Boom. Shame on you. Big shame on you. Boom. Shame on them. I say shame on them. Boom. Shame on them. Hey, big shame on them. Boom. Shame on them. Hey. I say shame on you. Boom. Shame on you. Big shame on you. Boom. My brothers and sisters die. For them, body beat me, try to go, running campaign for them. But you out for repress, go out for gap press, out for Siemens school fee, then the wearing leather jacket. While the benefit are giving to the master then, common people then, to the old man then. The papa young guy, young boy in a housing every day. US rate drop, but in prices second drop. People selling every day, but they're not getting profit. Yourself a Russian on your head, like y'all won't win a trophy. They were poor, but now they acting at Eddie Murphy. Finish stealing a beer, mad, they acting that they're not soft. Shame on them. I said shame on them. Shame on them. Hey, big shame on them. Shame on them. I said shame on you. Shame on you. Big shame on you.